Who out there loves a nice cup of rich hot chocolate? I do, even in the summertime. It's almost a nightly ritual for me. But I'm very particular about hot chocolate. It's got to be the right balance of creamy and sweet and rich. And it's taken me probably a year of trying different recipes and tweaking here and there to get something that I'm really happy with. And in the end, I'm going to give you another secret tip. So make sure to stay tuned to the end of the video for that. Let's start with our ingredients list. You will need cocoa powder. Now this is Ghirardelli cocoa powder. I really recommend using a high quality cocoa powder because it will be reflected in the final product. Cornstarch, milk powder. Now I'm using whole milk powder. You can use non-fat if you like. I find that non-fat is more readily available even at your local grocery store. I got this off of Amazon, and admittedly it was a little bit pricey, but I love a really rich and creamy hot chocolate. So I splurged on the whole milk powder. Malted milk powder, a quarter teaspoon of salt, a quarter teaspoon of espresso powder. Now this isn't espresso powder, it's just powdered coffee. It's what I had on hand. Now here's where I deviate from the recipe a little bit. You want to use sugar. Well, I mean, you can use sugar. I'm trying to make something that's a little more healthy for me. So I'm using the sugar substitute. This is Truvia, and it's their monk fruit version. And this is a 1-for-1 substitute with granulated sugar. So I prefer this, but you can certainly use regular granulated sugar in the same amount. And I've got some spoons here. I've got a tablespoon for measuring and a half cup measure as well. Now I am going to be whizzing this up to make sure I have really great combination of ingredients and to give a finer texture to it. So I'm going to be mixing right in here, and then I'll bring it over to the counter to actually whiz it when I'm done. So let's get to measuring the ingredients. Okay, let's start with the milk powder. It calls for 2 cups. So that will be 4 of these half cup measures. Okay, 3/4 cup of our cocoa powder. It's 1.5 of these. 3/4 to 1 cup of your sugar. Now, the last time I made this, I used a full cup and I found it to be a tad sweet. So I'm going to back it off to 3/4, but you can certainly go a full cup if you have a sweet tooth. 1/4 teaspoon of salt. 2 tablespoons of our cornstarch. Now cornstarch adds a nice thickness to the hot chocolate. And it also helps keep the other products suspended evenly, so you don't end up with clumps of cocoa powder, for example, in your cup of hot chocolate. And 1/4 cup of our malted milk powder. Now this just adds a really great almost a nutty complement to the hot chocolate. I find it to be kind of like the salt. Without it, the flavor is flat, but with this malted milk powder, it just brings it to that next level. And a 1/4 teaspoon of your espresso powder, or in my case, just instant coffee. Okay, I am going to put the lid on this, and I'll turn to the counter behind me and whiz this up, and then I'll show you what it looks like. And this is what our final product looks like. And again, you want to look for an even and homogeneous mixture, something that it doesn't have any lumps or bits of unmixed cocoa in it. It looks like hot chocolate mix, right? So it certainly smells good, I'll tell you that. I will put it in my container, and if you know me, I like to reuse containers, so we're just going to use this empty Ovaltine container. And that is it. Let's do a quick taste test just to make sure everything's okay. I've got about half a mug of whole milk here. Now, again, this is user preference, I guess. I love using whole milk in addition to the milk powder. Again, I'm a lover of rich chocolate milk, although you could use just regular water. In that case, it's going to be more of a fudgier hot chocolate, kind of like a fudgesicle if you've ever had one of those, rather than like a creamy Hershey's bar. Okay, so just be aware of that. It's certainly fine to use water if that's your preference. Now for this amount, and I've got about half a cup of whole milk here, I'm going to use about a heaping teaspoon. Normally I have twice as much milk, so I normally use 2 of these. But you can see how well it mixes, and that is thanks to the cornstarch, first of all, and then also the fact that we took the time to blend the product at the end to make sure everything was homogeneous and we didn't have any lumps. Finally, the taste test. That is really good. The sweetness level is perfect for me. Now, again, I like things a little bit on the less sweet side, so 3/4 of my monk fruit sweetener is just perfect in this. And the quality of the Ghirardelli cocoa powder really shines through in this product. If you use a lesser quality cocoa powder, you will have a lesser quality final product. It's as simple as that. So quality products will yield quality results. This is really good. Okay, I gotta stop drinking my hot chocolate. So today we went on another little culinary adventure, and that was to make our own hot chocolate mix. This version uses high quality ingredients which yields a high quality end product. I used a sugar substitute, but you can certainly use regular sugar if that's your thing. Now, one thing I want to mention that I didn't talk about here, and I'm eagerly waiting for it to arrive on my doorstep, is vanilla powder. Yesterday, after I was done filming, the vanilla powder that I ordered came in, and I had a chance to try it in my hot chocolate last night. Just to show you, this is what I ordered. I got it off Amazon. It was, I think, $8 or $9, and there's about 4.5 ounces in here. And I took just a little bit, like the tip of a teaspoon, and put it in my cup of hot chocolate, and it was over the top. You know how when you make anything with chocolate, you tend to add vanilla to it because it heightens the flavor of the chocolate? That's exactly what happened here. And there was a nice vanilla note on the back end of the hot chocolate. So it was absolutely next level. Highly, highly recommend this. For the 2-cup measure of the hot chocolate mix that we made yesterday, I would recommend adding probably no more than a tablespoon of this, because I added just a little bit to a cup, and I think if I added any more than that, it would have been too overpowering. So again, a tablespoon of this to your 2 cups of hot cocoa mix. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And I'll link another one here for you to enjoy. But in the meantime, thank you for joining me on this journey, and I will see you on our next adventure.